Yo, what's good, guys? Welcome back to another video. Thank you so much for clicking on another video of my face. For those of you who don't know, my name is Danny, and today I'm joined by Mr. George frickin' Poulos, as many of you probably know. What's good, dude? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How y'all doing?
So today I'm going to be talking to you guys about 5 tricks that you should learn to do in a game of skate, and usually, most likely, sometimes, if you learn these 5 tricks, I can pretty much guarantee that they will get people in a game of skate. Not always, but sometimes. These are tricks that people don't usually do or kind of neglect learning. So today I'm going to be showing you those tricks, telling you a little bit about them, and we're going to have Mr. George Poulos here do those tricks as well.
Battle at the barracks, here we come.
These tricks aren't the easiest tricks to learn, but they're not hard and they're very figure outable. So let's learn these tricks. All right, guys, so the first trick that I'm going to be showing you all today is the fakie front shove. This trick is actually super easy, but for some reason people neglect it. They learn all of the other shoves, but this one they just don't pay attention to. The fakie front shove gets no love, and that's why I picked this trick today, because usually when I do this trick in a game of skate, George misses it, Josh misses it. Sometimes people just miss this trick because they don't put the effort into learning it. This trick is super simple. You start out riding fakie and you literally just do a front shove, but you don't have to put so much emphasis on the shove. It's kind of just like a small little shove and your body just like floats back with it and you will land on the board. The hardest part of this trick is rolling away because you're landing switch after popping fakie, so sometimes your weight might be off. So if you can already do front shoves, you know exactly how to like shove the board, but the difference for this one is that since you're not going forward, you're not jumping this way. Since you're going fakie, you're gonna kind of be jumping backwards, and what that does is sometimes a lot of people will they'll shove, and like when they land on the board, they just don't land fully centered. So they'll either land like this or too much over on this side. So you gotta really make sure that you're following through with the board, but kind of backwards, if that makes sense. So it's not much of a pop. You're basically just riding fakie and giving it a little nudge. This trick sometimes gets George in a game of skate, so let's have George do a couple of fakie front shoves so that he can really feel comfortable doing them.
That's usually what happens.
Yeah. Just nudge the tail.
Oh yeah.
Do you see what I mean by it's less of a pop,
Yeah.
more of a nudge?
Right, I mean the nollie shove is like so
Exactly.
easy.
It's the same thing, and with front shoves, because front shove is a really poppy trick. That trick feels good to pop, but this one's like less about the pop. So just do a nudge right here.
Nice.
All right, and trick number 2 is going to be a switch back 180. This is a trick that I actually neglected for a really long time because it's kind of like a really awkward motion. Switch front 180s are a really open trick, but switch back 180s is super closed off, and it's just an awkward position to put your body in if you're not much of a switch skater. I'm gonna have George show you the switch back 180 because it's a trick that I'm not super comfortable with, and it usually gets me in a game of skate.
You would think this trick is really hard, but you know at a back 180, it's just more awkward. Just power through that awkward phase. Channel what you know about your backside 180s. Personally, I like to pivot them a little bit switch, and eventually that awkward feeling turns into that steezy switch feeling.
A little sketchy, but so it's interesting. There's different ways that you could learn this trick. For me, it's thinking of a switch front board. It really gets me to do a good pop on it. And for George, I guess it's focusing on the turn and focusing on like landing on a pivot.
Yeah, I sweep it.
He do be sweeping. All right, guys, and trick number 3 is going to be a nollie 3 shove. That might sound hard because you're doing nollie and the board spinning 360, but it's actually super simple. It's less of a pop. You don't really pop that much. It's kind of more of just like a little bit of a scoop with the board barely lifts up a little bit and it will go all the way around. This is a trick that gets most people in games of skate because they don't learn it because it's not really like a cool trick. But I don't care about that because my objective in a game of skate is not to do the coolest tricks. It's doing tricks that are going to get letters on my opponent so that I can win the game.
I actually don't know if I'm gonna figure this out.
Really? You got it.
This has been happening for years. It's so hard, dude.
Just think of a nollie shove, but shove harder. I find that the less that I try to pop, the more it works. Yeah, the more flat the board stays, it just like twisters around. That one was perfect. But then you have to jump up so that it doesn't get away from you. There you go. Redo. All right, guys, then the fourth trick is going to be a 3-shove or a 360 pop shove it. And this happens to be one of my favorite flat ground tricks. And the only reason I learned it was because I had a rolled ankle and I couldn't do tray flips. So I was like, oh, I'll try to figure out 3 shoves. And this was years ago, and I realized that most people just skip 3 shoves because they want to learn the oh so infamous tray flip. And while tray flips are really cool, 3 shove is a trick that usually gets everyone in a game of skate. So for this trick, I have one major secret, and it's what helps me to keep the board from flipping. And I'm going to show you exactly what that is right here. All right, so I have a secret for 3 shoves, which is something that I learned like years ago, and it works almost every single time. Most people, when they do 3 shoves, the board ends up flipping over, and that's because they're either channeling too much like tray flip energy. So my secret for 3 shoves is putting your foot, instead of right there or like too much on the tail, is putting your foot literally right there. And I always tell people this, let this edge of the board show. And what that does is it keeps the board like kind of like the nollie 3 shove. It makes it just spin like on the ground, but like you're gonna pop it so that it doesn't roll on the ground. So you don't have to show too much of this, just as long as you can see like the outer ply right there, like the color right there, the top layer, that's it.
Beauty, dude.
You ready to do some 3 shoves, George?
Fuck, I fucking guess so.
Bleep, I bleep and guess so.
I kind of want to tell him how I do it.
Yeah.
So, first of all, I miss this a lot in skate because it goes primo, so don't take this advice too seriously. But I scoop it just like a tray, but I try to hover my front foot right in the center so that it prevents it from flipping. And
okay.
like when I think about it, I try to think about my toes touching the center the whole time.
Wow, almost first try, that never happened.
Usually not.
Dude, you've never had 3 shoves this good.
I think it's because this video is making me really think about how I do it.
Guys, if this is the main trick that I really want you guys to learn. All of these are cool, but 3 shoves are so much fun. You're gonna have so much fun learning this trick. Shoot me a DM on Instagram of you trying 3 shoves, and I will definitely help you out if you need help with it. And I would love to see you guys landing some 3 shoves, because that's my freaking trick, that and nollie flips. But I love 3 shoves, so I want to see you guys doing that one. All right, guys, and the last trick, number 5, is going to be heel flips. And the reason I'm picking heel flips is because I cannot do heel flips. I can land them sometimes, they're really not very good, but I really want to put this trick in here because I have heavily neglected heel flips. So George here is going to give you a oh my God, these dogs are killing each other. Whoop, whoop. George, you're a dog.
Took care of it. See?
All right, yo, he's talking back.
So I feel like the heel flip is more closely related to the ollie than people think. A lot of people overthink it. They flick it and they jump in front of the board. Really, you want to come straight up, be nice and solid on your feet, flick it with your heel, you know, just like an ollie but off to the side. Same flicking ankle motion as the kick flip, but on the other side. Jump straight up, catch it, and land it. You have to like really commit to the flick, or else like your heel could get caught up on the board and make it go vertically.
All right, like I mentioned before, heel flip is a trick that I do not do ever. I neglected the crap out of it growing up, so it always gets me on a letter in a game of skate. So if you can learn this trick, you probably have a friend who can't do heel flips very well, so you'll be able to get them a letter. I am that friend.
Yeah, you are.
All right, guys, so that is the end of today's video. I hope that you can take these tricks and learn them and do them in a game of skate with your friends. Some of these tricks are not necessarily like the coolest tricks, but the objective today is to just get these tricks down so that you can start getting letters on your opponents in a game of skate. Some of these tricks that I showed you today usually get George in a game of skate,
oh, yeah.
And definitely the heel flip 9 out of 10 times gets me a letter in a game of skate as well, and that one letter could be the defining factor whether you win or lose. But yeah, that's going to be it for today. Thank you so much for watching the video. Make sure that if you didn't see George's video on his channel, he did a 5 tricks video as well today, so you're gonna want to peep that. Your boy's in it as well. George?
Yeah, what do you call your audience? The Danny boys?
The GEEBUSes.
Well, GEEBUSes, thanks for having me on the channel. It was great helping you guys out with some tricks. And, you know, thanks for having me, Danny.
Of course. Make sure that you go over to George's comments and type GEEBUS We're starting the GEEBUS train on George's channel.
I'm already getting flooded from the last video.
Type GEEBUS, G-E-E-B-U-S. That's George's new nickname, and it's here to stay, baby.
All right.
All right, peace out, guys.